What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. And oh boy, we've got an episode today. The third episode in a span of 72 hours. Wow. The Washington Commanders have finally gotten their quarterback, and it is not Russell Wilson. It's not Aaron Rodgers. It's not Kyler Murray. It's not Mitch Trubisky. It's not the other dude, Deshaun Watson. It is freaking Carson Wentz. The Colts and the Commanders have come to a trade that has sent Carson Wentz for 2 third-round picks. Carson Wentz is now a Washington Commander. The Colts are getting out of this 2 third-round picks and I believe a second-round pick swap with Washington, which it's not that bad. I think it's like 3 picks. Like Washington goes back into the draft 3 picks or something in that second round. But one of those third-round picks can become a second-round pick. I believe the 2023 third-round pick can become a 2023 second-round pick if Carson plays 70% of the snaps this upcoming season. And really, I just don't know what to say. I don't see... Okay, so here to start, I don't see the difference between getting this guy, Carson Wentz, over a guy like Jameis Winston, who we could have gotten just for less amount of money, and we wouldn't have to give up any picks or anything. And we could have gotten maybe like Teddy Bridgewater or something. I don't really see a difference in the amount of talent between Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, and Carson Wentz. This trade comes less than 24 hours, or about 24 hours after Russell Wilson gets traded from Seattle to Denver. And Washington, this has now happened twice in a matter of a 2-year span, a 1-year span actually, where we try and get a top-tier quarterback. Last year it was Matthew Stafford. This year it was Russell Wilson. And then the front office kind of just gives up and say, oh, well, we tried. And so we end up with this man like Carson Wentz or Ryan Fitzpatrick. And so that, I don't know what we're thinking here. Also, like, you can definitely tell that this is just a desperation trade here for Washington, where they didn't really, I doubt that they thought about this for more than 24 hours. Like, it was probably in the back of their head, but I don't think they would have had, like, a trade done or a trade in place, like, 48 hours ago or 24 hours ago, when usually you'd have the trade in place, right, like, a night to sleep over it, and then you get the deal done, and that would be today. I think they legit just came up with this trade this morning, and then they're like, okay, yeah, we need to get our guy Carson Wentz. Yeah, this guy's going to work out perfectly for us, yep. And then we trade away 2 third-round picks and a possible second for freaking Carson Wentz, who I don't even know what to say about him. He's just probably one of the most inconsistent players. I mean, he's injury-prone, first of all, and then also he's coming off a team where they didn't really like him. Of course, he got to reunite with Frank Reich and stuff, but I'm going to tell you guys later some stuff where that relationship has torn apart and is now, with Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, is now pretty much just torn apart. And going back to, like, we could have gotten Jameis Winston or something. We wouldn't have to give up any draft picks, or we wouldn't have to give up our $28 million that we're going to pay Carson Wentz next year, the amount of cap space that he's going to take up. We had $33 million to spend this offseason. Business was booming. We had like a chance to pick up Amari Cooper or someone really big like a Tyrann Mathieu to fill up a safety spot and using that money. But instead, we're spending $28 million of that $33 million on Carson Wentz. If there's any good news that comes out about with his contract stuff, is that he's only guaranteed money, and that's at $28 million this offseason. Next offseason, I was looking at the possible free agents, and it's pretty stacked. I mean, looking at some guys that have been trying to get franchise tagged, Jesse Bates, Devontae Adams, but I don't see us waiting. We cannot wait another year. This Carson Wentz here is going to be another bridge quarterback for a team that has had bridge quarterbacks for the last 5 years. I believe this is now the 11th quarterback that is about to throw Terry McLaurin a football. Terry McLaurin is heading into his 4th season. And it's just crazy. He's going to have an 11th quarterback now in 4 seasons throw him a football. And now for the Colts here, I'm going to read you this excerpt from this article by Zach Kiefer, who is a reporter for The Athletic for the Indianapolis Colts. It says, as for the Colts, the issues with Wentz stretched back to before the season began. One source said, and over the course of the year, some grew frustrated at what they deemed a lack of leadership, a resistance to hard coaching, and a reckless style of play, which had a role in several close losses this year. This is not good at all. And to continue here, but this wasn't just a football move. Wentz's play, inconsistent as it was to close the year, wasn't the deciding factor. The Colts brass simply didn't trust him to be the franchise quarterback moving forward, and they weren't willing to bring him back in 2022 and hope for better. Thus, the decision was made swiftly after the Week 18 debacle in Jacksonville. Wentz couldn't return for a second season in Indianapolis. We go back to Frank Reich and his relationship. Frank Reich convinced Colts owner Jim Irsay to bring in Carson Wentz. Irsay was definitely skeptical at first. He didn't really like it. I mean, Wentz comes in, right? Wentz plays a horrific season last season. I started off great. You look at the stats, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. On the stat sheet, it does not look bad. But the amount of just bad decisions that he had, some incompletions, some dropped interceptions, it was absolutely crazy. And now after the season, Frank Reich went into Jim Irsay's office and apologized to him that he told Irsay to trade for Carson Wentz. This is just horrible news that has come out about Wentz. And I mean, like, I bet you Zach Kiefer, he knew about this before, and he just wanted to do it when the trade happened, because he knew there was a trade that was going to be happening. And here it is. I mean, this is just absolutely horrible news for a team that has just traded for Carson Wentz. Overall, I don't know what this means for the draft. We still have the 11th pick. We have the pick swap with the Colts, so I think we moved 3 or 4 spots. We now have the 47th pick in the second round, and we do not have a third round pick. Are we going to choose a quarterback, or are we not going to choose a quarterback? Because we've got our guy. Personally, if I'm Washington, I wouldn't choose a quarterback, and I would go with Drake London or Nakobe Dean, because next year the quarterback spot, I mean, I'm guessing this year we're going to go 7-10 again or worse, because this is not looking good. But next year, there's a bunch of better quarterbacks entering the draft. One of them being Bryce Young. He's probably going to be the number 1 overall pick or number 2 up in the top 5, which we probably won't, but we might want to trade up for him, and I just feel like there's some better quarterbacks in the 2023 draft than there are in the 2022 draft, and I wouldn't want to spend my 11th pick in the draft on a quarterback that will most likely fail. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. This one was definitely been an interesting last 48 hours, that is for sure. Third episode in 3 days, we out here. I've got more content on my TikTok as well, breaking down pretty much any trade or anything really that happens in the NFL that is not related with the Commanders, and I also have quick reactions to stuff about the Commanders and about Carson Wentz and stuff, so if you'd like to follow that, I have the link in the description below. The next episode is going to be about predicting where NFL free agents land, unless there's another emergency episode that needs to come out, because you never know, this stuff is starting to get really crazy. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. See you guys in the next one. Peace.